Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the ImPerfect Podcast. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Kennedy. Join us on this week's episode as we discuss intriguing topics and people of interest that will inspire us to explore all of the unique pieces of ourselves.
We are all imperfectly perfect.
We're glad you're here. Hi, I'm Kennedy.
I'm Kathy.
And this is the ImPerfect Podcast.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, really.
Yeah, it really is. It's strange to be here finally on video and recording. It's been a long time coming with lots of little blips in the road, technological issues and things along the way.
Probably been about 2 years since we initially started discussing it. It began as a joke, thought of in the midst of the pandemic, when everybody was doing silly stuff. And this was kind of our silly idea that I don't know that either one of us really thought that we would end up here in the end.
Yeah.
But having conversation after conversation where one of us would definitely by the end of it say, hey, did you record that? Because that would have made a great show. And before you know it, we're ordering headsets and microphones.
Yeah, that was kind of what prompted us to buy the microphones and headsets because, like we were saying, it was a joke at first. It was like, haha, imagine if we had a podcast and, mother-daughter duo doing our thing. But we're here. So
I guess the inspiration for the whole podcast to begin with was as you see in the sign, I'm perfect, but together it means imperfect. So that's kind of the trail we're following. Basically, we're all imperfect. And once you come to terms with that and you see people for individuals and who they are, then you can hone more in on your own particular gifts and things that perhaps we're supposed to be sharing with others, but we don't seem to allow time in our busy lives for that. You work your job and you come home exhausted and you don't have much time to, look at the things that you might have been interested in earlier years, or, kindergarten when you get in the finger paints and, just things like that. So
yeah, well, that's the big question is who am I and what am I doing with my time and what am I even interested in anymore? Because like I was saying, you go through high school and you're asked immediately as, a teenager, what do you want to be for the rest of your life? And you end up on this path and you're going. And then what do I even like to do anymore? So we're hoping to inspire people. Now we're going to have some guests on the show as well to talk about their found hobbies and what has some people have found success in their hobbies, created a business or what have you. And we're hoping to educate as well. So there might be a random topic that, Mom and I just choose to talk about one day that you may have never heard of before, but, it kind of piques an interest and gets you down this path. And maybe you find some joy in that as well. So that's our main goal in this.
Yeah, I kind of see it like, the Walmart trip where you get to the cash and the cashier inevitably says, have you found everything you're looking for? And you're like,
all that and then some.
I've got all this extra stuff I wasn't even looking for. But, in our show, that would be great. You come on, you watch an episode and you see something that you didn't even know existed or that, you thought could never work. But here's somebody making a living doing their interest. And hey, is there a chance for me to actually enjoy what I do? It's hoping to be an inspiration and a hope for people that there's more to life than just exhaustion and, going through your years to finally get to retirement, but then you're too old and tired to do anything with it.
Yeah. And that's the whole course of life. You save your money and you hope for one day to be able to retire and to quote unquote live your life. And you get there and you're like, took the wind out of me.
So let's live our lives now, get messy and be willing to step up and step out. And the thing that I guess we haven't mentioned here is also we're all unique and have particular gifts that, we're meant to share with each other.
Yeah.
And by not exploring those interests in ourselves, we're not only ripping off ourselves, but everybody else out there who could be enjoying whatever your product is, or whatever service you offer,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm. Yeah, because if someone would have told me 5, 10 years ago that I'd be starting my own podcast, I would have done the
With
typical
your
laugh. Yeah,
mother.
with my mother. Like, what the heck was I thinking?
Right, right.
Be
So why don't you share where your background is?
Yeah, so not headed toward podcast at all. I actually, so I guess I'll start at high school. I did really well in high school. I got great grades, and when I graduated, I had a scholarship to go to the university I wanted to go to, and I was certain that I was supposed to be a teacher, a math and science teacher, and French at that. And I got there and I realized quickly that was not for me. And that's okay. So I did lots of random odd jobs in between and all through that. So I was an assistant manager at one point. I had a theater camp and did the choreography and directed that. I was working in emergency services at one time. And eventually I landed myself in college and I was studying to be an accountant. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. I'm an accountant for a national organization and I really enjoy my job, but on the side I also have, lots of little hobbies. So I like to go to the gym. I really like to crochet. I'm kind of an artsy person. So little things like that. So yeah, why don't you share a little bit about you too? Because your story's comparable, but also very different.
Yeah. Uh, well, I went to high school like you. Didn't do well, or didn't do as well as whatever. I graduated, but come to find out after the fact, the guidance counselor had told my mom, I guess I don't remember this story, but apparently there were words exchanged to the effect of that I wasn't really university material.
Mm.
He wasn't far off. I took off and went to university because, all my friends did, and I had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do with my life. So I took the arts program.
Yeah.
That lasted all of a year and a half. And then filled some time with working various jobs. Some I liked, some I didn't like. Ended up back at college, did very well there, smaller classes. The course material was something I was actually interested in, which, go figure, makes a difference.
Right.
Ended up working with youth for a couple of years, but then, then life happened and got married, had kids, had a house, opened a business, worked the business, raised the kids, the whole thing. And then life just gets too busy. Like, Kathy, what interests did I have? What did I enjoy doing when I was younger that, piqued my interest or brought me joy? Or what did I actually have a real talent for that, I no longer had time to explore or even look in that direction. So turn of life events, and here I am back at school and quite enjoying it. Very interesting. Things I've always been interested in, but kind of just had resolved to the fact that, well, that's not really my life anymore. And I have other priorities. And so, yeah, here I am midlife, have completed some programs in the midst of completing more. And it is actually my joy. I love doing what I do. And I'm really hoping that in the future it will lead to a career for me.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, with you being my mom, it's kind of a neat experience to see you now where you're at and to see you start to go to school and educate yourself in things that you find interesting. Don't cry. But no, seriously, and that's a great indicator that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing is that you won't shut up about it. And you can always tell when someone is absolutely in love with something is when they just blah, blah, blah about it all the time. And but I love that for you. So it's kind of a neat experience to see you go through that and to be your guinea pig along the way while you're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
our intention is to do about 30-minute episodes, and we're going to do those weekly and put them out on Mondays.
hoping
So
to get some feedback from our
mhm,
audience, perhaps things that you'd like to see on the show,
yeah.
suggestions, or everybody knows somebody that probably should come on this show and tell their story about, taking something that they really liked. A number of people in our area come to mind. Take something you really like, actually do something with it, and make a career for yourself. Like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. So yeah, we're hoping this will go smoothly, but there'll be lots of, blips in the road too, but that's okay. We're learning as we go, and we really appreciate you being here and listening to our episodes as well. So yeah, we'll
There's
see you on Monday.
If you or someone you know has a unique story to tell, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at theimperfectpodcast@outlook.com.
For more information and how to connect with us on social media, you can visit us at our website, theimperfectpodcast.ca.
And from whichever platform you are listening to this episode, be sure to like, share, and leave us a review. We would really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
We look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing you all find that extra joy and embrace your own imperfect.
See you next week.